Hey guys, surprise! I can do a build with a lot of damage too. In fact, this may actually be one of the highest DPS builds I ever had, and skeletons are one of my favorite minions. In the past I tried quite a lot of minion builds, different skeleton builds, but I always end up playing with elemental damage and using elemental equilibrium, so this time I wanted to try and make a pure physical damage skeleton build. Also, I know that skeletons are kind of squishy, so I try to make them a bit more tankier, because what's the point of having all the damage if they would die as soon as you summon them? So far this build has been flying through all the content including Chaber, but delving is not very pleasant with this. And map clear speed for some people may not seem fast enough. Also, cool part about the damage of this build is that it doesn't have a lot of conditional modifiers, or at least it's pretty easy to maintain those conditional modifiers. I get 3 frenzy charges from Victoria's Charity Shield, which is equipped on the Animate Guardian. Also, Animate Guardian applies bleed with a weapon that I crafted that has 60% chance to cause bleed on hit and also has 15% chance to cause intimidate for 4 seconds on hit. And I do need bleed because I am using bloodlust for single target for big bosses. So generating and maintaining 3 frenzy charges for skeletons and applying intimidate may be the only less reliable modifiers. Well, the build isn't cheap, but it can start cheaply. At the start all I had was +2 tabula and 2 scepters with fossil craft for some minion damage. +2 tabula obviously helps, but it's not really required. And you can see in all these clips destroying low tier bosses while leveling. Even without +2 tabula you would still deal insane damage. More than enough to level up easily. The main drawback for this build, I guess, you have to kind of be careful because you don't have a lot of life, and I try to make up for that, adding blasphemy with enfeeble and body armor with physical damage taken as lighting damage. And I'm currently only level 87, and in next probably 2 days I will be pushing for level 90, maybe even a bit higher, and attempting Uber Elder. Against Uber Elder I won't have over 4 million DPS because I will have to use melee splash, but it should still be over 3 million DPS, which should be enough, I hope. Now I'm gonna talk about items and skills at the same time and explain my Animate Guardian setup, which is pretty important, so you shouldn't probably miss that. And starting with my weapon, Chaber's Cairn. Initially I didn't think about using this weapon, but one of the viewers suggested, and after a bit of thinking it does kind of make sense because I wanted to make skeletons a bit more tankier, and this weapon also gives +2 to minions and up to 40% increased minion life. My other option was to use body armor with level 1 maim, so it would be like pseudo 7 link, but without +2 to levels, skeletons are just squishy. And currently my summon skeletons have 6.3 thousand life. So for this skeleton setup I have maim, melee physical damage, brutality, minion damage, and melee splash, which I replace with bloodlust. And I use bloodlust only against Chaber or the first Elder phase or Chaber's Guardians when there are no other enemies. As for the helmet, which is my Animate Guardian setup, well, it's not really perfect, but it's pretty decent because I do need +2 to minion gems with some life and resistances. If it was +3 to minions and with Jagged Fossil to make nearby enemies take 9% increased damage, that would be perfect, but of course that would be expensive and very difficult to get. So inside the helmet I have level 20 quality 20 Animate Guardian linked with multi-strike, minion life and melee splash. And my Animate Guardian has like over 55,000 life, and he basically never dies. Now for Animate Guardian setup and items I have Ambush Charge, basically just for the regen, Victoria's Flight Boot to give allies 10% increased movement speed, Soundbound Gloves to give percentage life to Animate Guardian, then Victoria's Charity Shield to generate frenzy charges to allies, and a very special weapon that I crafted. By the way, sorry for the bad quality of this weapon, I had to dig it up from the previous streams because I forgot to take a screenshot before giving to Animate Guardian. The main thing that I wanted was chance to intimidate enemies for 4 seconds on hit and a lot of chance to bleed with a lot of attack speed. So Dragoon Sword is already very fast and has implicit chance to cause bleed, and then I managed to roll Chaber's hybrid mod for chance to bleed and Mastercraft another chance to bleed. So combined this weapon has 60% chance to cause bleed on hit, and since it's a fast weapon and I have multi-strike for Animate Guardian, it does apply bleed very reliably. And lastly I have Jagged crafted the helmet for Animate Guardian, which makes nearby enemies take 9% increased physical damage, and this allows me to use Bloodlust support gem for summon skeletons very reliably, and Bloodlust is a big damage multiplier, as big as brutality. Next, for the body armor I have this. Like I said, I wanted some mitigation, so physical damage from hits taken as lighting damage kind of mitigates the physical damage, but I still don't really have any mitigation against elemental damage besides Enfeeble. Inside the body armor I have Enfeeble linked with Blasphemy, Flame Dash, Faster Casting, and Convocation. Then again Fenumus Weave Gloves, because elemental auras are useless to me and I hate using haste, and Aspect of the Spider does give 15% more damage to allies. And also applies hindrance to enemies, making their movement speed slower. Also remember, my skeletons have Maim, which also applies debuff for enemies to make their movement speed slower, which does stack with Hinder. And you can see Hinder and Maim working against the Phoenix. When he does the spin, it's very slow. And in the gloves I have Flesh Offering, Desecrate, which I left at level 1 because I don't have a lot of dex and I don't need high level Desecrate. Then Clarity and summon Stone Golem. Stone Golem is mostly just as a meat shield and also to give me some regen. As for my boots, nothing too special, life, resistances, some movement speed. And in my boots I have cast when damage taken set up with Immortal Call, linked with low level Flesh Offering and increased duration. Flesh Offering with cast when damage taken is pretty important and pretty good to avoid some after death mechanics like spikes and other explosions, because when you destroy the corpse it also cancels all the after death animations. Well, except for Volatile Dead. As for rings, one of the rings is nothing too special, just resistances and life, and another one with a lot of strength and dex, a bit of life and resistances. And on the amulet I wanted to get +1 to maximum skeletons and also with some life and some resistances, and that's the best I could get. As for the build, I'm actually using Darkness Enthroned because I was focusing on minion damage instead of my own survivability. And I did try to get some good Abyss Jewels, but they are just good. They are not amazing. Some may be decent but not really amazing. It is pretty hard to get Abyss Jewels without any flat elemental damage to minions. The main mods on Abyss Jewels should be flat life to you, minion attack speed, also need some chance to blind for minions, chance to taunt for minions, and then either flat physical damage to minions, increase minion damage if you have used a minion skill recently, or maybe minion life, minion movement speed, or whatever else you can get. And put the best Abyss Jewels inside Darkness Enthroned belt. And I'm also using one to Dust Jewel, simply because it just gives a lot of damage. But Abyss Jewels with flat life to you and some other decent stats to minions would also work. And in the end you could reach 6000 life. Also, another option for Animate Garden could be Spectres, either Carnage Chieftains to generate Frenzy Charge, but you would have to link it with Blood Magic. And there are also Puncture monsters which would apply bleed reliably, but Spectres would have like 14,000 life, which is nothing compared to even Stone Golem, which has like 32,000 life and it still dies. Now for the passive skill tree and Ascendancy nodes, obviously Bone Sculptor first, then I took Commander of Darkness and Puppet Master. And here's the rest of the passive skill tree. All the minion damage nodes, well almost all the +1 to skeletons, life, a lot of jewel sockets, and nothing else fancy really. Next 3 or 4 levels I would probably get a minion leech, a bit more minion regen, and 2 more minion damage nodes on the big minion wheel. And that's about all. I will be attempting Uber Elder, and if I succeed I will make another video just to showcase the Uber Elder fight. Also, you can kind of jokingly say that each of the skeletons does more damage than each of the builds that I previously did. Not really, but kind of. My next build is most likely gonna be Dominating Blow with the same mace that I'm using right now. And the next build may actually be the last one because we got like 2 weeks until the end of the league, and I still want to play this skeleton build for like 2 more days, or maybe just 1 more day. We'll see, maybe I'll make 2 more builds. Anyway, thank you for watching and see you soon.